All right, you got your license, exciting, congratulations. Or maybe you're already licensed and you're trying to figure out where to put my license, meaning where do I hang my license to affiliate with a brokerage, a real estate brokerage. Every state is different, but they're similar. There are huge national brands, there are small boutique brokerages, there are mom and pop brokerages, there are cloud brokerages, there are all types of brokerages out there. There's property management you could do, there's commercial real estate you could do. There's so many paths you can walk in real estate. It's pretty exciting. You just have to figure out what is the best path for you. And that's kind of the hardest struggle. For myself, when I got my license here in Richmond, Virginia, I also went through that same feeling. So I figured let's make a video on why I chose the brokerage I chose and how long I stayed and what were my options at the time versus today what I would give advice on knowing what I know then, have known then. Let's go back to 2014 when I was taking the test and I told you all my story about what happened. But the biggest thing was I was trying to figure out who was going to help me grow individually, who was going to help me do the things correctly because I was a rule follower coming from the medical industry. It's so heavily regulated. I was really concerned about making sure I did everything correct. I hope you're that person as well if you're doing real estate because you're handling people's biggest asset, their home. So I went ahead and went through a very methodical process of going through a basically online list of all the different brokerages locally in my area that I thought would be interesting to be, a part of potentially. So the ones I chose were kind of bigger name brokerages that stood out online for me, or I'd heard about them through word of mouth referral from friends that were brokers or part of real estate firms, or I just kind of in my mind thought, hey, I'll just try them out because I kept passing their office. One brokerage I went to and I actually took the class with is called Long and Foster Realtors. And that's more of a regional brokerage here in the Virginia area. They are part of the Berkshire Hathaway brand or home services kind of umbrella. Back then, they were more independently owned. So that was different and that was very appealing to me. It was very popular at the time. And our big shtick was, 1 out of 4 homes was sold by a Long and Foster agent at the 2014 time period. So I chose 2 offices with Long and Foster because I was taking a class with them. One was just down the street from me and then one was downtown. And they had complete different feelings, different broker managers, just different vibes. And so I'm glad I went to the 2 different ones to see because it's a huge firm and there's lots of offices and branches throughout our city. So that was one company I chose. Another company I chose to interview was Keller Williams or KW. In that time period, they had an office local to me that was pretty close and I had a conversation with them. The third brokerage was a local RE/MAX agent owned because that's a franchise, but I had no idea at the time. And Keller Williams is a franchise as well. There's a lot of franchises, but they use their umbrella national brokerage name to be a franchise. So they're all independently run, but they run under the umbrella of that huge national or global name. So those are the 3 I chose. I did not choose a mom and pop shop at the time or a small boutique brokerage because I kind of wanted to have, in my opinion, I thought I needed to have that huge brand name behind me because I was such a new agent and I really didn't know anything. So I just kind of went into it blindly. And I also didn't choose to join a team because I really was leaving the corporate world where I was already in sales and had a lot of experience and I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to be an entrepreneur and run my business. And I felt that if I was a team agent, that would stifle me in me growing on my own brand and my own name. So that's the 3 brokerages I went for. I learned a lot in that process of interviewing. I went prepared. I went dressed up in a suit. Because remember, I was in the corporate world where we dressed in a suit pretty much every single day. We were dealing with physicians and nurses and hospitals. And it was an expectation that you showed up so professionally. And there was not really business casual like there is today. It was full on suit, jacket, dresses that were very professional, heels, looking the part. So I came into this interview for every single one with every single managing broker, full on suit with my resume. Knowing this now, it makes me laugh because the majority of agents are pretty casual if you see out there in the world. I think almost, in my opinion, a little too casual, but hey, you do you and you run your business. But that's just coming from a very professional world. That's what I saw. So flashback to 2014, I'm in all these interviews. The reason I chose to go with Long and Foster was the broker was very, very certain. And he had such a certainty about him that it kind of lends to the whole thought of those who are most certain are who people are gonna follow them. He was very adamant about that office being full of the top players, and he even referenced the Yankees. Whether you like them or not, he referenced that they were like the best of the league at that time. My husband's gonna love this part of the video. So if you're not a Yankee fan, I'm sorry. He was like, if you wanna be a big fish in a small pond, go somewhere else. But if you wanna be in a small fish in a big pond where you're really gonna learn from heavy hitters, this is where you wanna be. And he made a point to say he did not take new agents. So of course I was like, I think I need to be somewhere that I'm going to be challenged, because that's who I am. So I joined this brokerage. Not to mention, my husband did point out the fact that that was the closest in vicinity to my home. And by nature, when something's closer to your home, you're more likely to show up, be there more often, and be able to absorb and have that proximity, right? We talked about proximity having power. So I went ahead and made a decision to join that brokerage. And it was interesting because my heart was kind of leaning towards the downtown brokerage. And he was like, you're not going to drive 30 minutes to go downtown. 25, 30 minutes, and you're not going to want to bottle with parking, and that's not who you are. So I'm so glad he said that. And that was a really key point, is thinking like, why are you going to the brokerage? Why are you in a brick and mortar if you need that? And are you really going to benefit from being a part of it? So those are the kind of things. And the reason why I chose not the Keller Williams is because he just assumed I was going to come there. He didn't tour me around. He didn't ask me questions about what I was trying to grow. It was almost like a cookie cutter presentation of insert you here and this is what we do. So it just wasn't a fit for me in that time. And then the local Remax guy here actually offended me. He asked me if I was going to sell to my people. And I'm of Korean descent, and I really took offense to that. And he almost seemed annoyed that I actually wanted to grow a business, grow a team. And I'm not using people's names because I don't want to defame anybody or cause drama, but this is a reality that happens out in the workplace every single day still. It is now 2024. It was 2014 when that happened, but it shocks me to this day, the number of comments that are said that are just so inappropriate, but you just have to deal with it as a woman or a minority in business. But it is what it is. I didn't file any complaint. I didn't create drama. I just was like, that is not the place for me. And it is that comment of your vibe will attract your tribe. Well, they were not attracting me because it was offensive to me, and I felt it was very misogynistic in that office, and that I wasn't going to ever have a voice or be able to move forward in that place. So I was like, that's not the office for me. So that's how I made my decision. I ended up going with the Long Foster office, and I was there for many, many, many years until I left to open up the collaborative. I partnered with a company called Side, which allowed me to have my own brokerage as a DBA. And that's where I'm filming for right now, our office. And I've been here now for a few years, and now we're opening a path to open the state up. I'm going to be the broker of record for the state of Virginia, and opening up a new opportunity for a cloud brokerage called 5 Realty. And it's based on the thought of why 5 is that it's based on the circles that you surround yourself around. You are made up of the 5 people you surround yourself around. And the CEO, Nazar Kalaji, is the one that came up with this concept out of Utah and California. He is a producing team lead, and I find him very inspiring. And it's really the people in that area that made me realize, wow, that's where I want to be. I want this great groundbreaking opportunity to open the state. So that's my path now. We're in this new journey. We're opening up, and I am turning the collaborative into a team within 5 Realty. I have a concurrent license I've applied for, and by the time this launches, it'll be both concurrent. So I do still own the collaborative, but we're doing all the business through 5. Okay, so let's flash forward or flash back to making those decisions. I think if I could look back now and think of the pros and cons of why I stayed with a company for so long. I am the personality type that doesn't just jump from place to place to place. I kind of stick. It was shown in all my other previous lives of corporate. I stayed very long time in positions. Luckily, I was promoted and grew within those positions, so that's probably why I didn't feel the need to leave. And I think one of the things is there's a difference between being a jumper, meaning jumping from firm to firm or job to job, or jumping to grow into something different. And those are the two things I would definitely differentiate for yourself. Are you jumping to look for the newest thing because you're looking for an external factor to make you happy? Are you looking within yourself? Are you doing everything within yourself to grow in that area? Or are you just in a misalignment with where you're located? Right? So those are the two things I think I would ask questions before you're going to reaffiliate with another brokerage or look for a team to join, or if you're brand new looking for one. You have to figure out what is the outcome you want first. I always always talk about this now. This is my new thing, is like, what do you want? Do you want to be a top producer? Do you want to be a team lead? Do you want to work by referral? Do you want to have Zillow leads? All those things are going to make decisions for you on where you align. Do you need an in-office place to work? And if you say yes, I'm going to challenge you. Are you actually going to get up and go to the office and use that office? Are you just thinking that you need an office? Because I have this beautiful office, and what I found is a lot of people just didn't come to the office, and including me. I coach, from my home office, just easier. But I love having it. We have the conference room, and I hope to use the space to do different things and grow. But that's just the truth. But I will say that when I was at Long & Foster as a new agent, I went in there quite a bit. And I was there, I heard conversations going on. And I think when you're around all the energy and things, it did help me grow. And it also gave me that mindset of, I'm going to the office to do work. I'm going to office to make calls, to prospect, to do the things I need to do, and then get out. There is a feeling that people say too, that if you are in the right setting, you have to figure out for yourself, why did you join this firm? Why? Before you make a jump to another firm. Because I do see a lot of people jumping from place to place. There are flat fee companies where you just pay a flat fee per transaction, but you have to think about it. If you're selling 50 deals and you're paying like $6.99 a deal, you probably are ending up paying more than if you had a different split. So do the math, do your numbers, really look at what you're netting. And also, if they're not giving you any tools, like no client relationship management tools, CRM, no way of processing your stuff, or they're not giving you any meetings or guidance or anything, is that really where you want to be? So these are the questions you have to ask of yourself, as well as on the flip side, if you know what you're doing in your business, if you have your own assistant that you're paying for, you're doing your business, everything is set up for you, and you're just there and you're not utilizing everything that the brokerage has, do you really need to be a part of a brokerage that you're not taking advantage of? Would you be better served at a cloud brokerage, and you can run your brokerage how your team or your business how you see fit with your team and your assistant? So there's a lot of different variations that can happen. I would just question for you, figure out what your top priorities are first in a brokerage. Is it the split? Meaning what you're paid versus what you give to the brokerage. Is that the most important thing? Is it the little fees that you don't know about? Is that the most important thing? Is it the leadership that's in place? Is it the C-suite? Are you funding with all your business the big corporate C-suite? Sorry, but that's the truth. Are you funding these millionaires that are being paid their CEOs, their CFOs, kind of like the whole drama that's going on right now with these huge corporations, right? Or are you in a situation where it's a mom and pop and it's cool because it's small and it's family-like, but you don't feel like there's any growth and you don't feel like there's any direction or trajectory that's going to happen with you? Are you in a place that's not innovative and you really want to innovate, right? Those are things to ask. So I would question that you ask those questions and figure out what's right for you. The number one reason people move is they want to feel like they belong to something and they want to feel like they're going to grow. That's the number one thing I hear. But often I hear, I want to be coached, I want to grow. But yet when they're coached and they're given opportunities to grow, a lot of people don't want to actually do the work. They just want everything to be handled on a silver platter. So you have to have an honest conversation. Are you willing to do the ordinary things consistently over time? Meaning making the calls, showing up to the meetings on time, turning things in, doing the things that your team lead may or may not ask of you, or your broker or manager, to help you grow. Because if you're not, you have to ask yourself, am I just blaming my brokerage or blaming my team lead for my success not happening? And that's the honest truth. I had a conversation today with one of my coaching clients about that. Are you making the calls that you need to make every day? Are you doing everything besides making the calls you need to make to connect with people? It's about connection. We're in a business of connection and helping people, right? So why are you doing everything but connecting? So those are the things I would think about. It's not just the split. It's also about the tech. Are you going to use the tech they're offering? And when I say tech, I mean, do you like, if they offer Follow Up Boss, do you like Follow Up Boss? If they're going to give you a website, can you actually search it? Is there something you can do with it? Do you have someone that's going to help you with social media at their brokerage? Or are they just saying that they're going to help you? What do they do for you? And then also, what do you want to do for yourself? Sometimes brokerages or teams do too much for you, which doesn't allow you to fly and grow your own wings and develop your own business. And that's something to remember too. If you're just trying to make a side business of, hey, I want to just do 12 deals a year. My husband makes plenty of money. My wife makes plenty of money. I love this. I enjoy it, but it's not like I'm not going to die. I don't need to be top producer. Maybe a team model's better for you. Teams usually take care of everything, give you everything. They kind of set everything up. They have processes and checklists, and you turn everything in and you can go on your way to the next deal. Those setups are perfect for people like that sometimes, right? But then you have to remember too, you're paying a lot more to be a part of that team, and you can't be mad when a team lead's going to charge you 50% when they're doing everything for you in the back end. They're funding, there's employees that they're hiring, and and marketing costs that they're covering. There's a lot of money that they're putting up front with the trust that you're going to actually close these deals and get it done. So these are kind of the things that you have to think about on the flip side that a team lead or a manager might be thinking. But you have to see, like, am I really a fit, and what do I want to do here? But also know and question, am I getting what I need, or am I just staying somewhere because it's easy? Is that really what you want? Am I growing to the next level? Do I want to grow my career? Do I want to grow as an agent? Do I want to challenge myself? Do I want to try something new, but I'm not because I'm scared? So don't be scared. Like, don't fear change because you don't want to change because it's easy. Because if something's not in alignment, I would challenge you to start having conversations. I know a lot of people call it recruiting. I call it attraction of, like, is that the right fit for you? Have a conversation. I'm opening this state up. I'm really excited to have conversations with people about Five Realty and about what it is and what it brings to the table. I honestly join it for the people and the leaders across the country that I'm getting to have amazing conversations with and really grow differently that I wasn't able to alone. I was very siloed here by myself, and I found that to be very difficult as a leader. And so I'm really excited to see what opportunities will unfold in front of me, but that's why I made the decision I made. Again, I would say to you, before choosing a brokerage, figure out, what do you want endgame wise? It's not just the split, I promise you. The brokerage has to make their money off of you. That's one thing you have to get over, whether it being a little piece because they're cloud, they're not offering brick and mortars and huge C-suites. That's how these cloud brokerages can work. And they may be doing revenue share, all those kinds of pieces, but they don't have the overhead that some of these big old school brokerages have with, like, advertising and managers and buildings and staff and all that, those kinds of things that cost a ton of money to keep. There's a reason. But if you really want that name, like the old school names or the standard names that have been around for a long time, that's awesome. That's you. Then you need to know that about yourself and be okay with that. But if you're like, I'm curious, like, if I could keep a little bit more money in my pocket, do some more innovative things that's more important to me, figure that question out for yourself. Everybody has a different path, and guess what? It's okay to change your mind. I never thought I would have left my brokerage. I never thought I would have opened a brokerage and decided not to have the brokerage anymore, because what I realized is I didn't like the day-to-day little micromanaging and having to, in my mind, babysit and constantly pester people for things. I just realized I'm more of an artist. I'm more of a coaching artist leader, and I really want to help people. That's why I really love this content piece of doing the YouTube channel and helping people this way, and just being real and honest about why I made decisions and saying, hey, I'm going to be 50 soon. I'm okay with changing my mind and going a different trajectory. And you should be too. And it's okay. We're not trees. We can move. We can change what we want. But if you're finding yourself flip-flopping and changing all the time, I question, do you know what you really want? So answer that first, and then you can figure out what direction to go in. But remember, you can always make a change if it's not a good fit. Just figure that out for yourselves. And I hope this gives you some guidance on making decisions and choosing which brokerage to align with going forward.